All right, we are going to talk a little bit about some simple probability today. You've been doing simple probability for quite some time. This isn't the first time you've seen it. In class, we would have worked through some of these warm-ups. We're just going to skip those for today and go directly into some of our work here. As always, remember that you can pause in order to write down your notes, as this will move faster than you can probably write. Our topic today is simple probability. We're not talking compound probability. We're just talking simple basic probability. Our essential question is simply, what is simple probability? Simple probability is actually what you've been working on. We've been calling it a few different things, writing it in a few different ways, but simple probability is a calculation of an outcome or the chance of an event occurring. To write your simple probability, you're going to start with a fraction. The total ways a specific outcome will happen, as in how you are being asked for it to happen, over the total number of possible outcomes there were, or there are. All right. So we're looking at this candy box right here, and we're going to solve each of the following problems down here. So the first question, I'm going to have to scroll back and forth just because it is. The first question here says, how many total pieces of candy are in the box? Well, that's a simple question. We just have to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's always worthwhile just to double check your math to see if you did that correctly. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 total pieces in the box. Question number 2. What is the probability of selecting a cherry piece? So in this case, this is the specific outcome that I am being asked for. I'm being asked to find cherry. There are 3 cherries. I would then write that out of how many total outcomes there were, which is 14. So in this case, the probability of selecting a cherry is 3 out of 14. I can't reduce this, and so my answer is just that. If it asks me to create it as a percent, I would then divide them. The next question says, what's the probability of selecting a lemon piece? So I'm going to go back up here. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lemons. So I'm going to have to say that it's 6 out of 14. Now in this case, this can be reduced. 2 goes into both of those. So if I divide both by 2, I'll get 3 out of 7. Every 3 out of 7 pieces will be a lemon piece. That makes sense. It's a bigger fraction than this one because there are more lemon pieces. The next one, what is the probability of selecting a grape piece? Come on back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 are grapes. There's still 14 total. So it's going to be 5 out of 14. Notice this does not reduce. It doesn't have a common factor. So question number 15 says, what happens if you pick one piece of candy out of the box? Which flavor would you have the highest probability of selecting? So again, you're going to look for the bigger fraction. You could turn these into percents. Sometimes for some people, that's easier to compare. So in this case, if I took 3 and divided it by 14, I would get 21.4%. If I took the 3 and I divided it by 7, I would get 42.8%, or 0.9% if I rounded, I guess. And 5 divided by 14 is going to give me 35%. So in this case, the lemon piece would give me the highest probability. Now, if you don't want to do that math, some of you are just really good at noticing your fractions, or even if you left it in the size 14, you'd notice, well, 3 out of 14, 6 out of 14, 5 out of 14, 6 is totally better for that one. All right, using the same problem, we're going to have a few different questions still continuing. Which flavor has the lowest probability? So we know that we had 3 out of 14 for the cherry, 6 out of 14 for the lemon, and 5 out of 14 for the grape. So in this case, the lowest one would be the cherry. Question number 7. If you picked a piece at random, would you be more likely to select a lemon or a cherry? Going in, totally random. Well, that just makes common sense in this case because there are more lemon pieces in there than cherry, so I'm definitely more likely to pick a lemon. However, the numbers don't lie either. 6 14ths or 3 14ths. All right. What is the probability of selecting either a cherry piece or a grape piece? Well, how many cherries are there? 3. How many grapes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be 8 out of 14 because those were the two options that I had to pick from. I was being asked for. Again, I would reduce that for my final answer and say 4/7. All right, where are we? Number 9. Your friend wants either a cherry piece or a grape piece. If you picked a piece out randomly, which one would you have a higher probability of selecting? Again, common sense, there are more grapes than cherries, so I'm definitely going to have a higher probability of picking a grape than I would a cherry. Question number 10. If I eat 5 lemons, 3 cherries, and 3 grapes, now what would be the highest probability? So I'm going to eat 5 lemon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 cherries, well, that's all I had there, and 3 grapes. What do I have left? Now I have left 2 grapes and 1 lemon. So this changed it because now I only have 3 pieces. 2 of them are grapes. So I'm going to have the higher probability of a grape this time. All right. The marbles drawn below are gray, white, and black. White, gray, white, black, gray, gray, gray. They're all placed in a bag and you are randomly going to draw one out. You're not looking, you don't know. Which color marble is least likely to be drawn? Well, the black one. The black is least likely to be drawn because there is only 1 out of the 7 marbles. What is the probability of drawing the black one? Well, I already told you, black is only 1 marble out of the total 7 marbles there are. Question 3. What is the probability of drawing a gray marble? I'm being asked for gray, so gray is what's going to go on top. There are 4 gray marbles, so 4 goes on top, out of a total of 7 marbles. 4/7. Question number 4. What is the probability of drawing a white marble? Well, you can still see part of these up here. There are only 2 white marbles out of 7. So my probability is what I'm being asked for goes on top, out of the total number of outcomes goes on the bottom. What is the probability of drawing a marble that is not white? Well, this one's not white. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them are not white out of the 7 total marbles. And that makes sense because if 2 were white, then the remaining 5 would be not white. Talking about a deck of cards, hopefully you know with a deck of cards there are 52 cards in a deck. There are 13 cards that are shape of hearts and 13 in the shape of clubs, 13 in the shape of diamonds, and 13 in the shape of spades. 2 of the sets are black and 2 of the sets are red. So in this question it says find the probability of drawing a face card. A face card is going to be your jack, your queen, and your king. There are 3 of them for each color. Since there are 3 of them in each suit. Since there are 4 suits, that means there are 12 face cards. However, the probability of drawing a face card, that is a spade. Okay, find the probability of drawing a face card, that is a spade. How many spades are there going to be? There are 3 spades out of, so 3 spade face cards out of 52 total cards. Find the probability of drawing a queen of clubs. A queen of clubs is a very specific card. It's talking about 1 specific card out of the whole deck of 52. Find the probability of drawing the number 3. Well, there's a 3 of hearts, 3 of diamonds, 3 of clubs, and 3 of spades. So there are 4 threes out of the 52 deck. In this case, I would reduce that. 2 would go into here twice. 2 is going to go into that 26, which is then going to be 1 out of 13. I do need to sidestep. We forgot to reduce this one. 1. Oh, maybe it doesn't reduce. 3 goes into there once. 22. Nope, doesn't reduce. We'll leave it there then. All right. Find the probability of drawing a black card. So remember that the spades are all black, and there are 13 of them, and that the clubs are all black, and there are 13 of those. So altogether, there are 26 black cards. Find the probability of drawing a black. Well, that's then going to be 26 out of 52, or it's going to happen half of the time. Find the probability of drawing a diamond 8 through 9. Well, there's going to be 2 of the cards. And 2 out of 52, which then again would reduce to 1 over 26. Okay. Oh, was that one say with jokers? Oh my goodness. All right, so this says without jokers. Oh, sorry, these are just more questions. I thought it, never mind. So now, the rest of these. Find the probability of drawing black cards 5 through 7. So black card would be 5, 6, 7 for clubs, and then 5, 6, 7 for spades. So how many would that be? There's 6 cards. 6 out of the 52. Then again reduce. Divide both of those by 2. And I'll have 3 over 26. And I think that's it. Find a probability of drawing a face card that is red. Well, I'd have the red jack, the red queen, the red king of hearts. And then I would have the red jack, the red queen, and the red king of diamonds. So that is also 6 cards out of 52, which would be 3 out of 26. Find the probability of drawing a face card. Well, I know that there's 3 here, 3 here. There'd be 3 for clubs, and there'd be 3 for spades. So there's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12. There's going to be a total of 12 cards that are face cards out of 52 total. Then I'm going to divide these. I'm going to divide them both by 4. 4 is going to go in there 3 times. 4 is going to go in here 13 times. And there we go. Find the probability of drawing cards 3 through 5. So that's going to be 3, 4, and 5. That's going to be in the hearts and the clubs and the diamonds and the spades. So it's going to be 3 cards at 4 times. So it's going to be a total of 12 cards out of 52, which would reduce to what we had up there. Find the probability of drawing a spade. Well, remember, there are 13 cards in each suit. So this would be 13 out of 52, which is the same thing as 1/4. I have a number cube. I'm going to roll a 3. What is the probability? This stands for probability of rolling a 3. Well, remember my outcomes in this case are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 total outcomes, so that's going to go on the bottom. To get the number 3 is only one of my outcomes, so that would be 1/6. What is the probability of not rolling a 2? So it means everything else but a 2. So that, and that. There's 5 of them. 5 of these numbers are not 2 out of my 6 options. This says, what is the probability of rolling an even number? Well, there's an even number, even number, even number. There are 3 even numbers out of 6 possible choices, so that would happen 1/2 of the time. I want you to try the remaining, so go ahead and hit pause and answer those questions. All right, now that you're back, what I want you to pay attention to is this says rolling a 3 or less. So that means I want the 3, the 2, or the 1. That's 3 different options that could happen out of 6, which is the same thing as 1/2. What is the probability of not rolling an even? You can do this in 2 ways. First way, if rolling an even is 1/2, well then not even is also 1/2, or you could count it up. And last question, rolling a 1 or a 6. Well, those are just 2 numbers. Those are 2 different outcomes out of the 6 possibles I have, and that answer would be 1/3. All right, here's an array. It's just a box full of different shapes. The first question we want to know is how many shapes are in the array? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 25 shapes. Questions number 2 and 3. What I want you to do is pause the video. Take a look at these questions. Don't pause the video yet. Take a look at these questions, see what you need to find. I'm going to move the screen back so you can see it. And now you're going to pause it here, answer those questions, and then come on back. All right, so question number 2 said, if you were to select one shape at random, what is the probability it would be a circle? In this case, the probability it would be a circle is going to be 8 out of 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 were circles out of the 25 total shapes. And there's no way to reduce that. Question number 3, if you were to select one shape at random, what shape do you have the greatest probability of selecting? In this case, the one that has the most are the squares. So your probability would be for the squares. Question number 4, which shape has a 32% chance of being selected? 32 out of 100 is one way that we can compare it because it's a percent. Equals how many out of 25? So we could set up this proportion and see what it was. It's going to be the one that has 8, so it's going to be the circle, but that's one way to set it up. The other way would just be to find the ratios and percents of all of these. So the circle would be 8 out of 25. The heart would be 5 out of 25. And then I'm hoping the last one is 12 out of 25, but let's count the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So just by looking at that, we would be able to see which one would be the 32% for that one. All right. Do you have an equal chance of landing on either 1 or a 4? So first thing we have to look at, all of these are equal sizes. The number 1 occurs twice. The number 2 occurs 3 times. The number 3 occurs twice, and the number 4 occurs once. Do you have an equal chance of landing on a 1 or a 4? The answer is no, it's not equal chance between those two. You're more likely to land on the 1 because it has 2 compared to the 1 for 4. What is the probability of the spinner landing on a 2 or a 4? Well, in this case, we're going to add them up. 2 or a 4 is going to be half the time, 50%. 1/2. What is the probability of landing on a 3 or a 4? Well, how many 3s are there? There are 2 3s and 1 4. So that's 3 altogether out of the 8 possible options. What is the probability of landing on a 1? Well, there are 2 1s out of the 8, which is the same thing as 1/4 or 25%. Go ahead and try the next 3 questions on your own by hitting pause and then come back and join us. All right, hopefully you were successful there and nothing confused you too much. What I want you to notice is this keyword not. So what is the probability of it not landing on a 1 or a 4? Which means it would land on 3, 3, 2, 2, and 2, which is 5 out of the 8. What is the probability of not landing on a 3 or a 4? In this case, there are also 2 3s and 1 4, which means it's still 5 8s. What is the probability of the spinner landing on a 2 or a 3? Well, there are 3 2s, there are 2 3s, so that's going to be a total of 5 out of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, this one is actually a fairly simple section as long as you pay attention to the words, what you're being asked. If it says not land, make sure it's not land that you're calculating. Make sure your bottom number is always the total amount of options there are, and make sure that your top number is always what you were being asked for. At this point in time, you need to bring your homework worksheet back to the substitute. Your notes that you were taking back to the substitute, and they will give you the worksheet for today. Before you return your Chromebook, go to Schoology and just double check to see if you have any missing work that if you finish the worksheet early, you could be working on to turn that in. If you have not yet turned in your test, your take-home test, you could also be working on that to turn it in as well. Good luck on the assignment, and happy times calculating probability.